We are back with another episode of Rewind the Game podcast. I'm your host, the Mad Scientist. Thanks for your support on the series. That is much appreciated. I feel very fortunate that I get to hang out with some of my favorite people in the FM community and talk about retro football with them week after week. And I've been looking very much forward to today's episode, as our guest is an all-time great in the FM space. He's made it a personal quest to put focus on mental health issues for years, which is very commendable. He also have the very best welcome greeting on Twitch I've ever seen, and that goes for everyone who rates his channel. Also, he's kicked my ass various times in PvP tournaments. People say hi to the one and only Leemo. There he is.
Hello. How are we doing? You okay?
Yeah, I'm doing very fine. It's hot today, it's like 200 degrees here. I don't know why we're doing this.
Very hot, very hot. Thanks for having me.
I
Really,
really
really is a
appreciate it.
pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for coming, my man. Straight out of the Scouts house. You were the
Oh, yeah.
king. You were the king of draft tournaments back in the day when that was a huge thing. Do you miss doing more PvP tournaments?
I mean, yeah, I had my moments. Some of the tournaments we used to get involved in were amazing. Um, I think one of the earliest memories is a final against Tony Jameson.
Ah,
Um, I think that was the first. I'm trying to remember what the tournament was called, but it was pre wasted possession and pre the FM playoffs. But yeah, some amazing times. Even more recently, when drafts sort of dried up a little bit, had some amazing moments, especially with Carr. I think Dr. Benji done some amazing commentary on one of our games in particular. It was through the wild card week on the playoffs, and it was just absolutely crazy. And that's what Football Manager was about for me, and PvP, and just end to end, just magic. And then some crazy moments with Trek in a few other tournaments. I think that was I can't remember what tournament that was now. The Road to Legends, I think it was.
yeah, there's so many around, right? So many
There
different.
was.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, um, I got known, for the 4-4-2, and I always stuck to it. Never came away from it. It was some sort of variant in each and every tournament I went to, and I managed to pick up a few trophies. I won Road to Legends. I won playoffs twice. Numerous finals, and then obviously say hosted, my own community draft as well in the Scouts house. So
Exactly.
I do miss it 100%. It's you look at the success of what Zealand's just done with the league, and again, just getting content creators together and creating some magic with FM is just it's
Exactly.
priceless. It's amazing, and it should happen more often.
Definitely. Let's hope it will be back at some point. And I remember they did a draft ranking at some point. Were you ever
Yeah,
first?
I don't think I ever quite reached the top,
Ah,
but I was still known as the king.
yeah, exactly. The trophy speaks their own.
That's it. The CV speaks for itself.
Exactly. Brilliant. All right. So, as I touched on in the intro, you've been an ambassador for mental health support for a long time now. Actually, you're also the CEO and founder of Mind Connect, and
Yeah.
you've done lots of charity work over the years. Do you mind telling us why that has been an important subject to you and what is Mind Connect?
Yeah. So basically, Mind Connect it's a mental health organisation. It's a community interest company. So we're a non-for-profit organisation. So we do rely on commissioning and funding to be able to support people, and to make sure that support's free as well. So we do a lot of projects locally. With community mental health teams. We also support schools and other local community hubs, and just giving them some education and some support around mental health. And I think when I first come onto Twitch, which was probably around 5 years ago, a little bit more now, um, I seen a massive gap, especially around COVID. A lot of people were isolated. A lot of people were struggling. And once people knew that I was a mental health nurse, and at the time I worked for a different organisation, still a charity, but a different organisation. This is my own organisation now, Mind Connect. And when I seen that gap, I just, you know, wanted to reach out and let people know that, look, there's a different platform for you to reach out to if you want support. You don't have to call, these other numbers, or you don't have to, you know, contact your GP, or there are other options, and I wanted people just to feel safe. And I think sometimes there's no safer place than being in your own home. And if you can reach out whilst you're in your own home, and sometimes behind a screen or behind a fake name, a Twitch name, sometimes gives people a little bit of extra confidence to actually reach out. And I think that was the key to it. And then what sort of happened from that was the channel just blew up. We were doing charity streams, we were supporting people. We do mental health streams, just short sessions on, just your basics around mental health. We managed to get our ad boards in the match engine in Football Manager, you know, which we're hoping to continue to do that. We have had some contact with them. But I think the biggest thing for me, and I only sort of reflected on this not so long ago, we've started doing a Talking Thursdays sort of stream now, just showing some basics and some education and offering people support. And what I have across my Discord and a number of other Discords is what we call a ticket program. So it's a confidential support mechanism, really, where people can open a ticket confidentially, and I will then answer it after triaging it. And then obviously I can then sort of give them the right support or advice, whether it's have a chat with me, I'll do sessions, or I'll signpost somebody. And we've had over 797 individual tickets since I started doing this. And I was just blown away by that amount. And I'm not saying this to sort of go, oh, look at me, I'm hero. It's not about that. People message me after me stream sometimes and go, I just feel good after that intro, or I feel good because, we've had a good time in your stream. But when I look back and over 790 people have actually reached out for support, it just shows that's the evidence of the gap, and what we need to do more of is raise more awareness, and that's what we want to continue to do.
There's obviously a need for it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but it must be a huge responsibility because, you're offering yourself, as you say, to speak with people, and it must be difficult not to, don't get me wrong, but get dragged down yourself. You got to stay strong. And
Oh God, I mean, yeah, people don't see that side of it, and I know people, all different people have different opinions about different things, and that's fine. I do what I do because I want to. I want to help people, and now, if I switch off of a night and I start streaming and I'm having a beer, that's me. Doesn't stop me from helping someone. It doesn't stop me from supporting someone. And I think sometimes one of the big things people say to me is that because I am who I am, I'm just me. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I've never changed in the 5 years, 6 years I've been on the scene. And I think every person you speak to who knows me will tell you the same. I've never changed. And I think that becomes so relatable for some people as well, because I think they feel a little bit more comfortable in reaching out to me. And obviously, the fact that I keep it confidential because I have to, it is a big thing as well, because it's hard to trust people, especially when you reach out and, being greeted with the right response can be so important initially. And there's so many people in the community that offer, me DMs are open and they offer support, and it's great. But you've just got to make sure you have that time for you as well. And I do that quite a lot, because I've got my family and my friends around me, and I can do things that I want to do. I can switch off, and having my own organisation allows me to reflect a lot more as well.
that is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I applaud that tremendously. And we'll of course leave links to it all in the
Yeah,
description.
absolutely.
Make sure to go and show your support. So the overall theme of this podcast is obviously retro football and retro FM.
Yes.
So let's get to it. You've been a season ticket holder for years for the club that you support, and
Yep.
for the viewers, you might see the shirt that Leemo is wearing. But anyways, would you please tell us who you support and how you became a supporter?
Yes. So I am a proud Everton supporter. Toffees have been for as long as I can remember. Um, you know, I love the club, and I think I remember the exact moment. People who know the exact moment you fall in love with a club, you that stays in your mind forever. Now, my moment was, it was 1991, and it was a few days after my birthday, and it was a Wednesday evening. It was at Goodison Park. It was the 20th of February, and it was a Merseyside derby, and it was the FA Cup, and it was 4-all. The result was 4-all, and the game was just end to end. It went into extra time. You know, you had players like Neville Southall on the pitch, Bruce Grobbelaar, you know, Steve Nicol, Jan Molby, Martin Keown, Dave Watson, Andy Inchcliffe. You know, Kenny Dalglish was the manager of Liverpool. Howard Kendall was the Everton manager, and it was, you know, Peter Beardsley scoring, Tony Cottee scoring. It was just, that game just made me fall in love with football all over again. You know, I think, how old was I? I think I just turned 9, 8, maybe just turned 8, 9, something like that. And yeah, you know, watching Graham Sharp, and I feel privileged and honoured to have seen players like that, John Barnes, Ian Rush. You know, those names just ooze quality, and they're just legends in the football world, and I'm so happy I got to see them. And like I said, that was the moment I fell in love with Everton, and then that was it. I was hooked.
And Everton was still quite good there early 90s, so that Merseyside derby must have been
Yeah. It was. I've never witnessed Goodison. The atmosphere was just electric. Like, it really was. It was bouncing, absolutely bouncing.
I can only imagine. So you already mentioned the first game that you watched. My second question, though, is what's been the greatest game that you watched live? Is that what that one?
I would say, yeah. I think, I mean, that game was just, yeah. I mean, that game was unreal. I think the next one would probably be, maybe Wimbledon, when we won 3-2 and we stayed up. I think that's probably, if we hadn't have won that match, draw or loss, we'd have been relegated to the old Division 1. So that was a big moment for Everton, because at the time we were struggling massively. We were battling relegation, you know, towards like the late 90s. You know, we were a club that were just really, really struggling. And that was kind of after the, you know, Howard Kendall left, and you know, we started bringing managers in like Mike Walker and, you know, people like that, and it was just kind of, where are we going here? And we were buying has-been players, and you know, we were buying players as much as they were great, but players were coming in towards the end of the career, you know, and like John Collins, Paul Gascoigne came in, David Ginola, you know, just to name a few. And it felt like, you know, we weren't going anywhere. And then Moyes came in and just changed everything.
Yeah. That's incredible. But yeah, it's been an up and down ride as an Everton supporter, I can imagine, over the years.
Yeah, very emotional.
Yeah, exactly.
Mixed emotions, very much mixed emotions.
That's understandable.
But I mean, I'm glad in a way as well, because I did obviously get to see Everton win the FA Cup in '95. Which, you know, gave me the opportunity to attend the old Wembley with those twin towers.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and we won the old, it was called the Charity Shield back then. We beat Blackburn 1-0 because they were the Premier League champions.
That's it, yeah.
So we beat Blackburn 1-0. And then obviously the FA Cup final, we beat Manchester United 1-0 as well. I actually went that final with me nan.
Oh, beautiful.
My grandmother was a massive Everton fan. And yeah, for some reason I can't recall why, but I ended up going to the FA Cup final with me nan. But albeit I went with me nan, it was an amazing experience.
Fantastic.
You know,
What a memory.
And I had a big blue wig, big blue Scouse wig.
Fantastic.
Blue nose.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, like Everton, brilliant.
I was just about to ask, I imagine living in Liverpool or growing up in Liverpool, you're either blue or red. So is it a family thing, or are you supporting both teams in your family?
Well, I mean, for me, when I was younger, unfortunately my mum and dad separated when I was very young, and my dad wasn't really a mad sort of football fan, from what I can remember, but he was a Liverpool supporter, and my mum my nan, they were both, sort of Everton. So I think that's where my sort of love for Everton come from, I suppose. Obviously, as we spoke about before, the first game I attended, the 4-all, that was my uncle who took me there. So I think that was the moment. But yeah, from a family perspective, my heritage, if you like, probably come from my mum and my nan. Yeah.
All right, cool. It's always nice to hear about the links and how it all
Yeah.
began. Yeah. So we also both been playing CM/FM for many, many years by now. Do you remember what the first version of the game was that you played?
I think I'm going back to the Amiga 500, maybe Commodore 64 days. I think there was a game called Ultimate Football Manager, and the reason I liked it is because you could build your own squad, etc. But you had this graphic, and it was like an overview of like the land where you were as a club, and there was like 4 grass humps around the pitch, and then you could build stands and offices, and I loved that part of it as well as managing. But as you mentioned, yeah, Championship Manager, Premier Manager '98 on the PlayStation is another one that comes to mind. Another one I loved was FA Manager, which was one that wasn't very popular. I think it come out in 1999ish, something like that. And that was, it might have been earlier than that. I need to try and remember. But yeah, I think, and then obviously Football Manager then, from 2005 onwards, has been kind of, the breadwinner, if you like. And I think sampling different, like LMA Manager, again, another brilliant, fantastic game. And I think in some respects as well, I felt like Sensible Soccer was a kind of management game. I loved Sensible Soccer because you got to pick your squad and transfer players, and yes, and then you went on and played the match, and I loved that side of the game as well.
There was the transfer part. You could sell and buy players and
Yeah,
from
yeah.
there, yeah.
Which was strange for a management game as such back then, to have that variety of the management and playing the game as well at the same time. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I think, and that's sort of my history and a few other games in between. But I have predominantly been a Football Manager fan, and I think I stopped playing other games probably when I was around 19, when I met my wife. And I think that's when I stuck to just Football Manager then. And then obviously found Switch and YouTube a bit later on in life, and I'm enjoying it now. And although I've played the game for a long time, it's been a different experience being part of a community. In that sense, it's it's been a very different experience, enjoyable but very different.
Of course. Do you have any memorable saves on CMOFM that sticks out to you that you still remember?
So I'll probably stick to stuff that I've streamed, in the sense of I had an Ajax save, and it was just a fun. I love an intro, as you know.
Yeah.
So most of my saves, long-term saves, will have some sort of intro, and the Ajax save probably had the best intro I have ever seen myself, that I've ever made myself, that I've ever found. And it basically had the song "Yeah Yeah Yeah," and we had the emotes made, and it just set the precedence for the stream. It was bouncing, and then as soon as the stream started, everyone was hyped up, and it was just such a fun save. Managing somewhere different than England, and I was one that, especially on stream, very rarely strayed away from England, whether it was lower league or Everton. So that one stands out, and probably another one is an Ibiza save I done, where it started off quite low, and managed to build probably one of the best squads I've ever built with youth, especially some young Belgians, and we managed to win the title in the end in the La Liga from coming up. And I think one of the best moments is on a clip I've got where we'd equalised late on against Barcelona to make it 2-2. And I just go mental. It's like screaming, but again, just getting into the saves, and and following a journey with them is amazing for me, and I love doing that. And we're doing that now with the current save I'm doing, where I'm doing a journeyman, and it's been so much fun. It's kind of been the save I've come back to streaming with, and we've called it a journey mo, obviously Leemo journey mo. So, and we're currently at Roma, and it's just brilliant. You know, it's so much fun, and you know the chat has been so supportive and amazing, and we've just bounced off each other, and the experience has just been magic. You know, it really has.
I love to hear that. I always enjoy dropping by your stream. There's vibes in the
Thank you.
chat,
Yeah,
and yeah, good energy
definitely.
from you always.
Yeah, no, thank you.
So one of my favorite segments on this part is when I ask my guests to assemble their all-time greatest starting 11, so we can
Okay.
start to talk about some of the proper legends around. I can't wait to hear how yours look like. First of all, what formation are we going with, Leemo?
So, it's kind of like a 3-3-3-1.
All right, interesting.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably the reason.
I struggled so much with this because
All right.
obviously, and I'll mention some names now, like Van Basten, Jordi Cruyff, Michael Laudrup, you know, Dennis Bergkamp,
Some all-time
Thierry
greats.
Henry,
Yeah.
Liverpool players, Everton players, Manchester United players that were great, and I did start off, and I said to myself, I'm going to pick this starting 11 because it's been so hard, just based on players that I've actually seen play live.
Yes, that's a great idea.
So I went with Neville Southall in goal, one of the best goalkeepers in the world, Big Nev. I also went with this left back, and I'm kind of using him as a left wide centre back, so in a back three. And I first saw this player. See if you can guess who it is. I first saw
I
this
have an
player
idea.
play in the Umbro Cup in 1995 at Goodison Park for Brazil.
Is it Unsworth?
It was Roberto Carlos.
Oh shit.
A
Okay.
very young Roberto Carlos.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Wow.
and
That
when
early.
yeah, so and Brazil played Japan, and I don't know what this Umbro Cup came to Liverpool, and yeah, we saw Brazil play
Oh
Japan at Goodison, and it was amazing.
yeah.
Um, and then the next one was probably one of the best modern day defenders, in my opinion, that's played for Everton.
Yeah.
He's played, for Man City, England, obviously. It was John Stones. I thought Rolls Royce defender. I've loved him ever since he first signed for Everton, and I felt like he's one of the best defenders that I've ever seen play. And then I just thought, you know what, I cannot have a team without Maldini in it.
Ah,
It'd be shocking. So I found a balance in the back three with John Stones, Paolo Maldini, and Roberto Carlos.
I like the sound of that most definitely. Did you get a chance to watch Maldini in real life?
I didn't know,
Ah, all
no,
right. Fair enough.
I
Fair enough.
didn't. So unfortunately, Maldini was one of the ones I didn't get to see.
But he had to be there anyway.
But he has to be. He has to be in the team.
Yeah, I love that.
And then again, the midfield for me is a bit of a strange one because I've picked these players because based on sort of their history as well, and just the quality that I felt they brought to football in those times that I watched it, and was going the match, home games, away games. I've picked Yaya Toure, I've picked Paul Gascoigne, and I've picked David Ginola across a kind of midfield three, if you like. I just, because I thought, again, I wanted to try and keep it mostly with the players that I've watched play. And there's only one other player I haven't seen in this front four, if you like. So I'll start with that player, which is Lionel Messi. Again, he has to be in the team. It's like Maldini, modern day football royalty.
Yeah, of course.
One of the best in the world. I don't think you could have a team without him in it. Ronaldo, R7, obviously.
Yeah.
Again,
same.
similar to Messi. I've put Wayne Rooney in there as well. Again, because I've watched that boy grow up. I
Yeah,
watched him.
right.
even from like watching him at schoolboy level, because he was big behind the scenes at Everton
That must have been
before he
special, yeah.
before he scored that Arsenal goal against Seaman. People were talking about him at Everton. He was breaking records for England, for youth cups, and scoring goals. He was just so powerful, fast, clinical, unique. Yeah. So I thought I'll have him in because I loved Wayne Rooney, and then obviously, unfortunately, he went to Man United. But it is what it is. And I watched the podcast, and I kind of understood the predicament he was in. And I think it was a Euros tournament, and he came back from that saying, I was told by Everton that they'd accepted an offer for me from Chelsea, and it was all gone through and everything. And he said, look, I don't want to go to Chelsea. And he said, if I'm going to leave this club, he said, I want to be in control. I want to pick where I go. And then Newcastle came in for him. And then obviously Manchester United. And he chose United and went on to have probably one of the greatest careers an Englishman can have. And then the final player up front, and I struggled with this because I went through so many, and I stuck with my heart because he was one of my favourite players when I grew up, and I loved him. I don't know why. I think it was his character, the way he was. He scored goals. He was just a nuisance, and I made it my aim to go and watch him play, and I got a ticket to go and see him play at Highbury, and it's Ian Wright is going to be my
Oh,
striker.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a huge fan of him as well
Oh,
in the
I loved
90s.
him.
What a goal
Yeah,
machine, absolutely.
yeah. So yeah,
Fantastic.
a very different and an interesting 11 there.
I like that approach. I like that approach. I really like your midfield, Gaza and Ginola. Lots of creativity.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Well,
Yeah, yeah, Toure. I mean, that especially that one season for City. Did he score 25 goals as
oh,
a central midfielder?
he was amazing, wasn't he? He was amazing.
Incredible. There's one Everton player that I always was a fan of. He was never like world class, but I always signed him, especially when he was younger. He was like the predecessor of Rooney somehow. McFadden.
Oh, James McFadden. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he had
I
some
loved
flair
yeah.
as well. Yeah,
I love Jimmy, but there was so many like Leighton
yeah,
Baines,
yeah.
sentimental. I was thinking
Baines, yeah.
Tony Hibbert. Even like the likes of Tim Cahill and Arteta. I love
Cahill,
those
yeah,
players at
yeah.
Everton. But like I said, I tried to not be too biased and put
It
too
could have
many
been
Everton players.
11 blue players, I imagine.
I could have been, yeah, it could have quite easily been.
Yeah.
But no, I thought a little bit of variety, and I think there was definitely three names that were straight on that list,
All right.
being Maldini, Messi, and Ronaldo.
Yeah.
And then obviously built the team around that.
Sounds
So yeah,
awesome. Sounds great. It's difficult to come by some of those names, so gotta respect those choices. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. For so many years, especially Messi and Ronaldo in present time, and Maldini's career. I just talked about this with the Omegas last week when I added him to my 1986 database. He's 18 years old, and I
yeah.
also added him to my 2007 database. Maldini, what a career!
It's crazy, isn't it? Like unbelievable
Insane.
career, and that's it, isn't it? And I think being a football fan as well and playing football managers, just the similarities sometimes and the coincidences and the wonder kids that we find, and then
Yeah.
they come out in real life and it's like, I seen him at my firm, I had
You
him.
discovered them first,
Yeah.
exactly. I love
I
it. That
discovered
happens.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Also, the other way around. Sometimes we have signed someone on FM who had a
yeah,
huge potential, and he never got anywhere close to it in
yeah,
real life. But I
yeah,
love it all.
definitely.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks for assembling that starting 11. I like the approach. I definitely like the
Yeah,
approach. It's always a blast. But
definitely.
another thing I do enjoy on this show is our little retro footy quiz.
Oh,
Are you ready for this one, mate?
probably not.
So far we have had 4 contestants. None of them have flunked out and gotten 0 points, and none of
Oh,
them
good.
have been able to get into double figures yet. So maybe the miracle will happen today. We rely on you, Leemo.
Okay.
So currently we have Musterman in the leading position with 7 points.
Okay.
Right behind him, FM Llama with 6 points. And in third position, Omega Dad. And in fourth position, Omega Luke. Let me tell you a little bit about the rules. I have 5 questions for you.
Yep.
3 points for a correct answer, or 1 point if you need any hints.
Okay.
We also have a super chance question where you can get 5 points for a correct answer. So 17 points is the maximum, although I have said before that I doubt anyone will get anywhere close to that.
Yeah.
But I hope the best for my guests. It's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
it's it's a silly little quiz, mixed of football history, FM history, and
Brilliant.
silliness. So I wish you the best of luck, mate. Here comes the
Thank you
first
very much.
question.
Yes, sir.
Which Italian player has the highest current ability on FM 24?
Ooh. Ooh, that's a good question. Which Italian player has the best current ability on FM24?
You're managing in Italy currently, but I don't know
I am.
how many seasons are you in?
I'm about four seasons in now.
Yeah, all right.
So I'm just kind of, who could that be?
Yeah, of course. Take your time.
Is he still playing in Italy? Is he now?
Yes.
It's not Barella, is it?
You know what? You're off to a great start. That's 3 points, Leemo.
Ooh.
It is Nico Barella.
Thought so.
Brilliant. Off to a great start. That's how we want it to be. All right, question number 2. Now it's time to go back into the past.
Oh no.
I'm sure you remember the epic scorpion kick saved by the Colombian goalkeeper René Guita.
Yes.
It was in a friendly in
It
1995
was.
against England at Wembley.
Yes. Yes.
But who was taking the long distance shot which was saved by René Guita?
Oh, I know this. I know this. I'm torn between two. It's someone not very obvious, I think. I don't know why. I'm going towards Darren Anderton. Because I remember he had a really good, powerful shot on him. I remember the game we played against Sweden where he scored a goal and it hit both posts and went in.
Ah, yeah.
Was it Darren Anderton or David Batty? Darren Anderton.
It is a good shout, but it does not give you 3 points, unfortunately, this one. But I have 3 options for you to choose between, so you can get 1 point.
Okay.
Was it Steve McManaman? Or was it Nick Barmby? Or was it Jamie Redknapp?
Who would probably be more audacious to go for that? Probably Redknapp. Go with Jamie
correct.
Redknapp.
That is correct. That's 1 more point for you, Leemo. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Third question. Who was the youngest player to reach 100 Premier League goals?
Michael Owen.
Correct, sir. That's 3 points. You're up to 7 in total now on a freaking roll. Good job. Good job. Fourth question, which is also the super chance.
Okay.
5 points for a correct answer. 1 point, though, if you won off. But we got to get this spot on for 5 points. How many goals did Ruud van Nistelrooy score in his international career for the Netherlands?
Ruud van Nistelrooy. International goals. I'll go with 65.
That is not correct, though. And you won't get 1 point either. You're a little bit far off. It was 35 in 70 games.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, he was a goal machine, but maybe peaked a little bit late for the national team.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, maybe a bit of a silly guess, to be fair. Never mind.
Yeah, fair enough. Not easy. But it takes us on to the 5th and last question. And as I said, you're on 7 points currently. So a correct answer here, 3 points, would take you into double figures. And that's the miracle we're looking for.
Oh, okay.
But it is a tricky one because we have one from the fun fact category, as I like to call it. Let's go. What is Paul Merson's middle name?
Paul Mason. Paul Mason's middle name. John.
That's unfortunately not correct. But there's still a chance to get 1 point away from this
Okay.
question. I'll give you 3 options to choose between. So, is it Charles? Or is it Andrew? Or is it Oliver?
I'm going to pick Oliver because that's my son's name.
Ah, lovely stuff. Sadly, does not give you a point. His full name is Paul Charles Merson.
Charles. Wow, there you go.
But 7 points. The leader in the quiz overall is Musterman with 7 points. You have equalized.
Okay, I'll
So
take that.
split first position in our little quiz. That is lovely, Leemo. Great job. And thanks for taking part in the quiz. We do
No,
appreciate
my
it and have a
pleasure.
little bit of fun.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
And also thanks for joining us on today's episode. It's been an absolute pleasure.
My pleasure.
Could you please tell people where they need to go to watch you play Football Manager?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. That's one of the phrases you'll hear if you come and watch me stream. So it's just that easy. It's twitch.tv/Leemo57. I stream most evenings from around 8:30, 9 o'clock-ish. And we go till midnight-ish just after. And again, just good vibes. We have a laugh. And yeah, just come and pop in, say hello and just get involved. It's really good. And then obviously from there you'll get to know us a little bit more in the community and get to see how amazing the community is around me and some of the amazing things we achieve while we're playing FM and some of the things we don't achieve while playing FM.
Most certainly. And by the way, the day of recording this episode, Football Manager have posted for the first time on the social media for how long? 4 or 5 months or something.
Yes.
There is a new game coming out, FM26, which is awesome news, obviously.
Brilliant news.
We didn't need much, 5 seconds, and we all hyped.
Yeah. Everyone's peaked already now, haven't they?
Yeah.
Like, "Ah."
Everyone, forget about the delay and stuff. Let's
Yeah.
freaking go. Let's freaking rock and roll. So, yeah, Leemo will be here for FM26 as well. And as he said, come and say hi in
Absolutely.
his Twitch chat. It's one of the best on Twitch and in the FM community. One of the most welcoming.
you.
But yeah, that is it for us today. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Your support is greatly appreciated. I do love doing this podcast, and I have plenty of guests lined up for future episodes. Stay updated on my socials or sign up as a patron to get early access to all future episodes. Until next time, see you guys.
Take care, guys. Thank you.